Welcome to Xhibition, an Xbox podcast, episode number 76. My name is Samuel Adams, and it's finally upon us. The Halo Infinite Winter Update drops this week on November the 8th, and with that comes new maps, a new mode, a brand new free battle pass for you to grind through with a revamped match XP progression system, and so much more. It's a very good week in the world of Halo. We'll dig into the details of everything that's rolling out this week, but on top of that, we have 3 new games coming from Electronic Arts and Marvel's new partnership, one of which is Iron Man, 2 of which remain mysteries. We'll talk about that on today's show. And of course, we'll round out everything with the new Game Pass editions that are going to be ready and waiting for you now and in the weeks ahead. It's a big show today, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. November the 8th is a big day in the world of Halo. 1 year ago, we saw Halo Infinite's multiplayer launch in a surprise fashion a few days before the official release date of November the 15th. Of course, that was to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the original Halo, Halo Combat Evolved. And so with that launch 1 year ago, it was received very well. Old school fans could feel that DNA of the original Halo in Infinite. New fans really enjoyed the way the game played. That first couple of weeks of Halo Infinite was a very good time to be a Halo fan because I think unanimously, people pretty much agreed this was a good Halo game. It was fun to play, the fundamentals are good, and there was enough content there for players at launch. Little did we know that content would be sorely lacking over the next few months and really over the first year of the game's life. But they are continuing their trend at 343 with releasing stuff on November the 8th with this year's drop of the Winter Update. This is coming to Halo Infinite this week on November the 8th, and it is bringing a sorely needed influx of content. Some may argue it's not enough, but I think with the tools that are coming in Forge, the community is going to have a lot to keep themselves busy through the winter. So, what all is included in the Winter Update? First and foremost, you do have the fundamentals. Network Campaign Co-op and Forge tools are launching into beta. Network Campaign Co-op allows up to 4 Spartans to dive in and enjoy the campaign themselves. We have talked about this extensively on previous episodes of the podcast. But this is pretty much as much campaign co-op as you are going to get right now. Of course, local co-op has been canceled. It has been put on ice indefinitely, and so this is a great way to dive in with friends and enjoy that campaign together. I know a lot of people on podcasts that I listen to have been waiting for Network Campaign Co-op to drop to go back and actually play the campaign because they enjoy Halo campaigns with friends, and I think that's a perfectly justifiable way to experience the game. So it's nice to see that experience is finally available for them. But on top of that, as I mentioned, Forge tools are launching into beta. Now, this does not mean you are only getting a small selection of tools at your disposal. This is effectively how 343 launches their updates into their game, and then later on, when everything is completely settled and done for, they will officially launch its leaving beta, although I would say this is pretty much the official launch of Forge tools. And so with this, you have thousands of assets to build your own experiences, build your maps, build your game modes. You create the Halo that you want to have. And looking back on Halo's legacy, some of the most iconic social game modes, if you will, have come from having access to these Forge tools in past games. And so my biggest piece of excitement for this update is to be able to see what the community comes up with. Give players the tools that developers use to build these games and let them run wild. I think we are going to see some phenomenal creations. And of course, we are also going to be seeing the custom browser as well, so you can dive in and discover some new ways to enjoy Halo Infinite. Now, for me personally, I would love to see a playlist a la Battlefield 2042 where it is curated every week and a new fresh round of Forge experiences are brought in that I can matchmake into. I think that would be a great way to drive some additional engagement in what the community is making. Now, again, I don't know if that's the plan they have in place. I don't know if that's doable, but I think it would be a very cool idea just to get those custom modes and custom maps in front of people. And maybe there's even a voting system implemented potentially in the future where you could say, okay, community, here are the top 3 maps we've seen for this season of Halo Infinite. Which one do you want to see brought into the game proper? And I don't know what that looks like as far as payments and royalties and things like that, but that's the kind of community involvement that I would like to see. So all of that being said, Network Campaign Co-op and Forge Tools are both launching this week, and those are going to make a significant impact on the way that many players enjoy the world of Halo Infinite. Now, for players like myself that enjoy a more curated approach, where I dive in, play the multiplayer, and new maps are cycled in from time to time, there are 2 new maps and 1 new mode coming into Halo Infinite's multiplayer, and they include Argyle and Detachment on the map side, and the new mode is Covert One Flag. These 2 maps are built entirely using the Forge tools that are also launching this week, so they're kind of meant to showcase what Forge is capable of. The 343 developers used these tools to build these maps, which in short should mean you can also build maps of this type, which is very exciting for up-and-coming game developers and map designers. That is a topic for another day, but I love the fact they're putting these tools into players' hands. So Argyle is set within the narrow corridors of a UNSC vessel, and it's a tight indoor symmetrical map that makes for a great competitive arena. We also have Detachment that is built entirely within Forge, and it's set atop a rocky outcropping, and it's a once abandoned UNSC research facility composed of indoor and outdoor environments, providing opportunities for dynamic combat that suits a variety of game modes and play styles. And this is the first map in Halo Infinite that includes a teleporter, which was a fundamental part of old school Halo games. Very exciting stuff to see there. And of course, you can also play the new mode, Covert One Flag. Covert One Flag joins Halo Infinite as a unique variant on the One Flag CTF. In this round-based mode, attackers and defenders swap sides as they battle for control of a single flag. Asymmetric team loadouts equip attackers with active camo to help sneak their way past enemy defenses, while defenders possess threat sensors to help spot the intruders. The team who wins the majority of rounds wins the match. So there's your curated experience for the winter update, and we'll take a brief pause there. So far, a very nice little round of updates. Again, Network Campaign Co-op, Forge Tools, and then 2 new maps and 1 new mode all coming in the winter update. But we're not done there. However, again, taking a brief pause, this is what I would consider to be Season 2.5. It's not quite Season 3, which will bring additional content in the spring, but it's enough to get you through the holiday season. Of course, they've talked about multiple new winter events that are coming, one in late December, one in January. They dig into that in the Battle Pass preview video that was uploaded earlier this week. But this is a good start to keep players engaged through the winter season. One thing that is sure to keep me coming back to Halo Infinite through the winter season is the Match XP Beta and Progression Update. This is the entire point of the 30-tier Battle Pass that is coming out with the winter update. It is meant to test this new progression system, and they've admitted there are probably going to be some bugs along the way. But according to Halo Waypoint, we have Alex Wakeford who writes, "The winter update brings a free 30-tier Battle Pass, and with the introduction of the Match XP Beta, challenges, and ultimate rewards, will also receive a significant rework to improve your progression and customization journey. For this Battle Pass, for players who have not yet completed Season 1 and 2, and for all future Battle Passes as well." So, what exactly is coming with Match XP? This consists of XP for completing matches and additional XP for your performance in the match. This includes things like being on the winning team, your end-of-match placement, and more. And here's a quick look at how it looks in the game itself. You see the mock-up of Arena Match Complete with 150, top 50% of the team with an additional 50 XP, winning team 50 XP, and MVP 50 XP, adding a significant amount of XP earn to the traditional challenge style setup that we've seen in Halo Infinite to date. Now, on top of those changes, we are also going to be seeing the amount of challenges for the ultimate reward cut from 20 down to 10. That's something that is launching next week as well. So the grind to get those ultimate weekly rewards is certainly going to be much more accessible. We also see adjustments to how those challenges are stacked. So no longer are you going to have challenges tied to specific modes, for example. They're more so going to be performance-based or weapons-based, which I think is a great move there. So, in general, I think that XP Earn is on the right path. They also write later on down the line about career progression. They write, in addition to these improvements for match XP challenges, ultimate rewards, and your battle pass progression, the team is also continuing on working on an ultimate rewards and your battle pass progression. The team is also continuing to work on an overarching career progression system, but there's nothing else to share at this time. They are just putting a stake in the ground to set expectations for the winter update. So overall, this is a great step forward. Match XP is a big win in comparison to where we were 1 year ago when Halo Infinite launched. That being said, this still doesn't really feel rewarding to me in the way that a multiplayer shooter traditionally does. So when I look at Call of Duty, which I've been playing a significant amount of over the course of the past few weeks, I get XP for every kill that I get, every assist that I get. I see that XP stacking up. And so if I go on an absolute tear in the game and I get, let's say, 25 kills in one round, I get XP for each of those kills, versus in Halo Infinite, where if I went on an absolute tear in a round of Slayer and I got 30 kills out of the 50 that it takes to win the round for my team, I get just as much XP as the guy who got 10 kills, who came in second behind me, because he's still in that top half of the ladder there. I don't feel like I'm getting actually rewarded for each of the kills, and that, of course, is by design. I think that that's a complaint that's coming from me in the way that I see an idealized progression system, but if I were to get rewarded for every kill, let's say I even got 25 XP for every kill, that would completely derail the XP earn system that's already in place within the game, so that takes a much deeper rework that is fundamentally shifting the way that mechanic in the game works, so I get why that's not included. But again, just providing feedback, I don't know that this provides the level of depth that I want from a rewarding progression system. I still like that they're including the MVP. I still like they're including the winning team XP boost. I still like that these are performance-based metrics that are shifting the amount of XP that I get. Once again, moving in the right direction. So I'm pretty happy with where this is landing overall. I'm excited to dive in. I'm excited to level up that 30-tier battle pass and really see how this all feels, because I am so excited to get back into Halo Infinite. That's the biggest piece of this whole winter update for me, is that I haven't really had a reason to play over the course of the past 2 or 3 weeks, and for a lot of people, they haven't really had a reason to play over the course of the past 3 or 4 months. This is the time that people can finally dive back in and really enjoy it. Now, speaking of that battle pass, let's dig into what you get. This is an entirely free battle pass that is dropping on November the 8th, and it includes a ton of Reach-themed cosmetics that I know a lot of hardcore fans are going to be excited for. So, what exactly is included here? You can check out the entire video for yourself, but we're talking about the Mark V Armor Core, which is going to be added to the game and the first thing that you unlock, and with that, a ton of different attachments for the armor itself. You've got your shoulder pads, your knee pads, your hip attachments, and then you also have some blades you can put on your shoulders as well. A lot of cool stuff to earn there, and then of course you do have your little party effect there for your kill effect. Very cool little update here. This is not a full season. Again, want to really emphasize that, but 30 tiers of a free battle pass, revamped XP earn, 2 new maps that are built in Forge, 1 new mode, and Forge tools are also coming into the hands of the community on top of network campaign co-op. Seems like a pretty comprehensive update to me. This is a great move forward. I think I can confidently say I'm excited about the future of Halo Infinite. And I think that when we look back on this week, when we look back on the winter update, I think this is where we say this is where they started to turn it around, because we have a new head of live service that's getting in there, digging in, changing the way the game is being basically unveiled for players, revealed for players. And I think this is a nice half step. Season 3 is going to set a new cadence. And I know that I sound like the hopeful romantic, but nonetheless, I'm excited about the Halo Infinite winter update, and while we might have Modern Warfare 2 out here popping off and doing numbers, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes, I'm still excited to get back to the good old roots, to get back to Halo Infinite. It looks like Marvel and Electronic Arts are teaming up for not 1 game, but 3. This news comes from Ryan Dinsdale over at IGN, who writes that all 3 games are coming to consoles and PC, starting with the previously announced Iron Man game that made its debut a couple of weeks ago. Details are still very thin outside of the Iron Man game, but we can speculate as to what these games might be. Of course, they are going to be Marvel characters, and I think that it's very likely that we do see a Black Panther game. The significance of that IP in 2022 is something that no one should leave on the table. We have two movies that are very successful, with one that is set to come out in the months ahead. I think it's prime time to bring a Black Panther game and make it a reality. Of course, I also think about these significant heroes that are in the Marvel catalog. Hulk, Thor, Captain America. They're just ready and waiting for a game. Make it happen. Of course, I think back to the Avengers game as well. I think there's a good foundation there, and while it might not have been a success in the long run, I do think that there is a lot to build off of there in the way that the stories are told and the way that the characters are portrayed. And I would love to see where they go with that kind of approach. But instead of just having a revolving door of heroes you can choose and select, build out a Captain America game and build a narrative around that single character. Maybe improve some of the gameplay, change things around a little bit, but at the end of the day, tell a cool story and fans are going to show up. That's the biggest takeaway for me. So once again, Electronic Arts, Marvel teaming up. One game is going to be Iron Man. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Which heroes do you think they're going to go with for the following two games? Or do you think it'll be 3 Iron Man games with some potential changes to the mechanics, some new story beats? What do you think is going to happen with this deal? Modern Warfare 2 has smashed records that were set back in 2011 with Modern Warfare 3. This comes from Business Wire with an official press release from Activision itself, which writes, Modern Warfare 2 tops $800 million sell-through in 3 days and delivers the largest opening weekend in franchise history. The launch weekend has outdone Top Gun Maverick and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness box office openings combined and has surpassed previous franchise records set in 2011 by Modern Warfare 3. And of course, then they tee up the launch of Warzone 2 as anybody would in a press release, which is coming on November the 16th. So significant figures coming in for Modern Warfare 2, and for it to smash Modern Warfare 3 shows just how big of a launch this is. Of course, Activision Blizzard getting ready to be part of the Xbox Game Studios family. This launch is a perfect example of why, yes, Xbox may be focused on mobile, at least in terms of what Phil Spencer is saying, and I do think there is a big payout there and a big potential there as they expand in the future. But talking about the here and now, the day-to-day, having a successful Call of Duty like this does change the game. Being able to include it in Game Pass on day one eventually completely changes the game. And so I think that $800 million in 3 days shows you that this big $69 billion acquisition, you're going to make your money back on that, and you're going to make it back in a big way. We're talking about $800 million in 3 days. And I would say some people were even on the fence about this game. You're going to be looking at a monster holiday season for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. So we'll see what the overall lifetime sales of this game end up being, but again, off to an incredibly strong start. And I will say this is my favorite Call of Duty that I've played in recent years. I played Cold War a good bit a couple of years ago, but I haven't really been into a Call of Duty since Modern Warfare launched back in 2019. And I've already spent more time with this game in 3 days than I did in the first 3 days of the original Modern Warfare 2019. So I think it does bode well for the game, for my stickiness, so to speak, long term. Not that I'm representative of the general gaming population, but nonetheless, I do think I have a long-term interest in playing some more and grinding through this horrible progression system they have, because it's miserable. Why did I have to wait 4 days to unlock a red dot, Activision? Come on. But I digress. Good to see Call of Duty getting back in action. Vanguard did not perform well, and I would say even Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, it was all right. Not the best game, not the worst game. It was okay for the COVID year, but this one is certainly looking visually great and performing monetarily very, very well. To wrap up today's show, we have some new games that are launching on Xbox Game Pass, a couple of which are out right now. Available today, you have The Legend of Tian Ding alongside The Walking Dead: A New Frontier, the complete season, and The Walking Dead: Michonne, the complete season, the latter of which are both on PC, but Tian Ding is out on cloud console and PC. You also have Ghost Song on cloud console and PC, which is a day one release on Xbox Game Pass, and I've heard some great things about this game. This is an atmospheric 2D adventure of self-discovery, ancient mysteries, and cosmic terror, one that I plan on checking out as I finish A Plague Tale Requiem later on this week. Then on November the 8th, we have Football Manager 2023 on PC, which is a day one launch on PC Game Pass, alongside Football Manager 23 console on Cloud Console and PC as well. Weird release, not sure if that's a typo. Are there two different versions of this game, both of which are coming to PC? Curious on that one. If anybody has any details, let me know down below. We also have a return to Monkey Island launching on Cloud Console and PC on November the 8th, which is a surprise drop and one that I've heard great things about via previews. This is the return of a classic, which I think a lot of people are definitely going to enjoy. So you can check that one out when it launches on November the 8th as well. Then Vampire Survivors is coming to console on November the 10th. I love this game. It's available now on Game Pass for PC in beta, and it's great to see it finally launching on Xbox as a whole. This is kind of like an auto battler in a way, but it is so satisfying, and this is the perfect game to unwind to after a long day of work, or maybe even warm up the day with a cup of coffee with. Definitely recommend that one. Then on November the 15th, we have Pentiment launching on Cloud Console and PC from Obsidian and Xbox Game Studios, which is a day one launch with Xbox Game Pass, and Somerville on console and PC, which is another day one release with Xbox Game Pass. I'm very excited about Somerville. I've had my eye on this one since it originally made its debut earlier this year, and it is giving me some Inside, some Limbo, a little bit of that kind of vibe to it, and I think it was made in development from people that used to work for the Limbo and Inside team. So if you're a fan of Undead Labs, I think they make that. Could be wrong there, correct me down below, but if you're a fan of Limbo and Inside, you're probably going to enjoy Somerville. We also have some DLC and game updates. We have Sea of Thieves, Return of the Damned dropping on November the 3rd and running through November the 17th. Sniper Elite 5's Up Close and Personal Pack and a free map are both coming out this week. Halo Infinite's Winter Update is dropping, as we talked about earlier, and Microsoft Flight Simulator 40th Anniversary Edition is also dropping on November the 11th. We also, unfortunately, have some games that are leaving soon. On November the 8th, we have Football Manager 2022 and Football Manager 2022 Xbox Edition. And then on November the 15th, we have Art of Rally, Fae Tactics, Next Space Rebel, One Step from Eden, Superland, and Subnautica. A big bummer there for that last one leaving, but again, you do get a pretty steep discount if you are a Game Pass subscriber. You can get 20% off to keep them forever. So not a bad deal there, one I have taken advantage of before. And of course, one I might take advantage of with Subnautica down there. We'll see. One that I still need to get into and play some more. But that rounds out this week's episode of Xhibition, an Xbox podcast. If you're new here and you enjoy the show, you like what you see or what you hear, be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube or add the show to your podcast feed of choice to get it delivered right to you each and every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Of course, you can always find me over on TikTok at JamPackSam. I'm streaming and posting videos throughout the week, and I'd love to have you over there as well, and my social links will be down below. But until next time, you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. I'll talk to you soon, and keep on playing.